Hi everyone. I'm hopeful that all will be fine. In the last session, we have learned how we can actually update the user profile information setting. Okay. So in this session, I have described all the available options which we can pass inside the payload, and I have also described the limit, what is required, what parameters we can pass. Okay. So all the stuff. So if you are interested to watch that session, then just get that from my playlist, Zoom integration playlist. Okay. So we are keep continuing with the Zoom users REST API, and in this session, we will learn how we can actually update the user setting. Okay. So for that, we first need to check whether we have already a const variable for that relative path or not. Okay. So you can see inside the Zoom constants, we have a user settings helper. So we are not going to create an extra const variable. We are going to use that already created one. And we first need to create a helper. Here we say const update user setting. Okay. And we say async. We need to pass the payload. And we also pass the filter. Okay. So the first thing regarding the updates user setting endpoint, first thing you must be have a user right and user right admin scope. Either one of them. Either you have a user right, either you have a user right admin scope. Okay, to page or update the payload to update the user setting. Okay, and this API have a medium limit so that we can send only 20 requests per second with the pro plan. If you have that pro plan, then you can send 20 requests and 60 requests per second if you have business plus. Okay. And in this API, we can only send the option filter parameter. Okay. So inside the filter, we have only one parameter we can pass as a query parameter called options. Inside the option, we can pass any one value from these values. So either we can pass meeting authentication. Okay. Either we can pass meeting security. Okay. Either we can pass recording authentication. Okay. We can set any one value in this query parameter. Okay. And inside the payload, basically a user setting for the update payload is divided in three different sections. So one is a user setting, which will be, we can call it user general setting. And another is a user group setting authentication update. So second section is this. Okay. So the all the related group authentication related settings will be lie in this section. Okay. And third one, we have a meeting or webinar security settings. So we can update only these three sections using the update user setting API. Okay. So in this session, we only select a specific section from the user settings. Okay. We are not going to describe all the setting section in this one session. We are keep continuing with to build the small sessions for each section. Okay. So inside this user setting or user global settings, there are different sections where the user setting is divided. So first one is email notification. Okay, so all the notification related setting is lie inside the email notification. And second one is a feature setting. We can update the feature setting, and we can also set in meeting. Okay, so in meeting, all the related option availability inside the in meeting we can update in this section. And we have a profile settings, we have a recording settings, we have a telephony settings. Okay, and we have a TSP, telecommunication service provider settings. Okay, so these are the sections we have available inside the user settings. Okay, so in this session we are going with the email notification only, and in the next session we will build the session for features and keep moving with the other ones. Okay, so one by one we will build small sessions. Okay, so inside the email notification we have a different type of reminders we can enable or disable using the user settings. Okay. So if we have a need, we want that alternative host will be notified when he or she will be added or removed from a meeting. Okay. So if we have a need to enable or disable that option, we can use the alternative host reminder. So if we enable that, then we set true. And if we need to disable, then we set false. By default, the value is false. Okay, when you are going to create a user, by default value is false. Okay, and another email notification reminder, we can enable or disable using this update user settings API. So another option, we can say it if we have a need that once when a meeting is cancelled, then Zoom must be notify the host that this meeting is cancelled. Then we can disable that notification by cancel meeting reminder. So if we need that, then we can enable that using the true value, and other if we are no need that, then we need to disable that, we set false. Okay, and if we have a need regarding the cloud recordings availability, that the Zoom will notify when cloud recording is available for the use, and at that time host needs that the email notification will be received from the Zoom, or we do not want that notification will be received in the inbox or in the email in the host to the host, then we can enable and disable. We can either enable or disable that feature or notification by using cloud recording available reminder. So if we need that, then set true to enable, and if we no need, and we disable using false. Okay. And if we have a need that when someone attendee will be joined inside the meeting before the host, okay, we need that the Zoom will notify the user, okay, that someone have joined inside the meeting before join the host, and we can enable or disable that type of a setting by setting JBS reminder to true or false. If we need to enable, then we set true. If we need to disable, for the disable, then we set false. Okay. And if we want that the alternative hosts will be notified when the cloud recording is available for the use, then we can either we have another scenario or other use case that we do not want alternative hosts will be notified by the Zoom that recording is available. Then we can enable or disable that type of a notification by enabling or disabling cloud recording available reminder for alternative hosts. Okay, so we set this to true if we need to enable, and if we want to disable, then we set false. Okay, and if we have a need to enable or disable the notification regarding the cloud recordings for the assistants or schedulers, then we can also enable or disable that by using cloud recording available reminder for cloud available for scheduler. Okay, so we need to be if we have a need to enable or disable that type of a notification to the assistants or schedulers, then we can set either true or false. So we can enable and disable by setting true, false to this field. Okay, and if we need to be notify the host, okay, that the scheduler or assistant have created a scheduled a meeting for you, or reschedule that meeting for you, or he or she have a cancelled meeting. So all that type of a notification, we need the Zoom will must be notified against that type of activity to the host. Then we must be need to enable or disable by using schedule for reminder. Okay, so we said this true if we want the host must be notified, and if we do not want that host will do not be notified from the Zoom, then we set this to false. Okay, so these are the different type of notifications we have available inside the email notification, so that we can handle those type of notification settings using the update user setting API endpoint. Okay, so let's start. First, we build a URI. Here we say let user setting URI, and we use string interpolation. Here we say API base URI. We need to append the user settings, and we need to pass the user ID from the payload user ID, and we need to check from the filter. If filter have an option query parameter, then we need to append that. Okay, so we say here user setting URI and append. We say here question mark, and we say option will be filter dot option. Okay, and then we are going to build the Axios request. So we say await, and we say Axios, and we set URL. So we say URL will be user setting URI, and method will be page. Okay, and data will be payload, and set headers. We need to copy and paste the headers from here. So we only need to pass the bearer token, access token header, and we bind then the response and return response, bind cage, and we say error, return error. Okay, and here from here we need to return the data, need to format the code, and export update user setting. Okay, and inside the API we first need to import that. So here we say update user setting. At the bottom we need to create a page endpoint for that helper. So we say app.page, and here we say API Zoom users need to set the user ID as a parameter, and we say settings, and we need to set the handler for that request response. And here we first need to set the user ID from the param to the body, and we say user ID, and we say request.params user ID, and let updated setting, and then we can say user setting, and you will say await update user setting, and we need to pass the request.body as a payload and request.query as the filter. Okay, and need to return response.json, and here we say user setting. Okay, need to format the code and place semicolon here. First we need to place the breakpoints on a return response and error. Need to start the API. So we say start. You first need to open the user profile where I am going to requesting to enabling or disabling in email notifications. So here I'm going to say user zoom.us meeting sign in, and here on the settings we can see here we have email notification. Inside the email notification you can see I have cloud recording available is disabled, attendee joined before host disabled, and meeting is cancelled disabled. So in this session I'm just going to demonstrate these three fields to be enabled disabled from the REST API. Okay, for the remaining fields I'm just it is leaving for you that you can just get the code and test those. Okay, and if you are facing any problem or any query, then just share all those things inside the video comment section. Okay, so let's start. First, open the Postman. And inside the Zoom API, we need to create a request. So here we say update user settings, and here we need to set page, and we need to bind the URI. So it is a local host for 4000, and I think we need to get this and set users, and at the end we set settings. Okay, save inside the body, raw select JSON, and here we set email notification. Okay, and inside that we are just going to update these three different type of settings. So one is a cancel meeting reminder. Okay, so we are going to set this to true, and loud recording available reminder, and we are setting this to true, and JBS join before host reminder, we are also setting this to true. Okay, so let's format the JSON a bit, and now let's send the request, and let's see. Okay, we have a response. Inside the response we have a 204. We have successfully updated from the API, and let's refresh the browser and let's see. Mail notification, and you can see this cloud recording available is enabled, attendee join before host is enabled, and meeting cancel is enabled. Okay, I'm hopeful that you have joined this, you have enjoyed this session. If you have any query regarding this session, or you have any facing problem regarding when you are going to building the code at your end, either you have any queries or any suggestions regarding my any previous sessions, then all those are most welcome. You can share those details via the video comment section. Either you can share those via my shared contact details. So take care. We will come back with another session. Bye-bye.